So currently the game Undecember has been out. This is its second day it's out. Only 37% of the people who review it are giving it a positive review. That means 63% of the people are leaving a negative review on Steam. If you look at these reviews, they're mostly around the cash shop. So let's look into the cash shop and actually talk about if the cash shop is in fact pay to win. I'm going to cut directly to the chase and let you know the most aggravating thing. I played this game about 5 or 6 hours now. It came out yesterday and I've been playing it over the last 2 days. The first thing I've noticed is right about at my level, the crunch for inventory space is significant. I only have one extra piece of gear, and then I have things like my runes. Runes are essentially your skills. We'll talk about those in just a moment. And these are all items used to upgrade my abilities, etc. None of these are really something that I just want to drop off or just delete or just sell. These are things that I kind of need with my character. Well, if you actually look at my storage, I am 96 out of 100. How do we get additional storage? Oh, we need the diamonds. How do we get the diamonds? Let's move to the shop. Let's go to the shop and you can see directly we start getting into pay to win. So basically what this is this game has a problem of trying to create problems in the game and then monetizing upon the problems. Currently in the game, there is no way to increase the storage I have been able to find outside of the shop. So if I want to increase my storage to get 5 additional bag spots, I can buy this 30 times, which will give me 250 total spots of my character, 100 started and 150 purchased. Now, this in and of itself is enough to be very frustrating that I constantly have to go back to be able to make room, etc. Well, then they monetize upon that problem. Well, let's say that, okay, well, I don't want to constantly have to go back to base because I only have 9 return scrolls. So what they actually do is, oh, well, your pet has an ability when you're not in the actual base. So I'll tell you what, I'm just going to go and we're just going to leave the actual normal headquarters real quick. We'll go back to like an area like the overworld where you can farm, and you're going to notice my pet has an ability to disassemble the items while I'm in the field if I want to, so I can disassemble that and get it, and that way we can make storage or I can sell the items, etc. Well, you might think that's quite great, and it is quite great to have pets. Then the pets will also run around and pick things up for you, but here's another kind of annoying part. The pets have something called abilities, and in order to have the abilities, you have to purchase time on these. If I actually look at my pet itself, you're going to notice, and I'll click right here on my pet, I have 7 days, 56 minutes because I'm free to play, and that's how much time I have left. You can see the item in disassemble, 9 minutes, 31 seconds, okay? My auto loot passive is still going. That is currently what I have available in terms of remaining time. So once that time's up, my pet is no longer going to pick up loot. And if you look at what the pet actually does when you're fighting, it's quite important to have it because take a look. The guys drop loot, and when you're dropping loot, you don't want to have to run around and pick up everything. You see how he goes and picks up the gold for me? Or else my progress is going to be slowing down a lot. Now, in my own personal opinion, while this isn't necessarily directly these portions, the convenience isn't necessarily selling power. We could talk about selling power in just a moment. This is actually worse for me because what this does is it makes things like picking up loot and storing your loot. Literally the reasons we play action RPGs, it actually monetizes upon these and further creates the problem on purpose. They know that we're going to be running out of bag space and they make a million different currencies. If you actually look at the way enchanting works in this game, if you go to enchant, look at how many different versions of enchanting. Not only do they have enchanting, but then they have the materials that you need to make the materials that do the enchanting. And they have many different versions of this. So my entire bag, starting from here all the way down to here, is just the portion for enchanting materials, and many of them are basically duplicates of the same kind broken down into lesser currencies of each individual ones. It becomes even more obvious when I go over and show you at the blacksmith, and we go, let's walk over here, do this in one big cut so you guys don't see I'm editing anything out because sometimes it's important just to show you here we go. So if we go to enchanting, look at this. There's a currency for this which will imbue an item. There's a currency for this which will re-imbue an item. There's this one which selects and fixes one of the items. This imbues an additional option. This re-imbues the options. This increases the max option count. And then you have this again for rare, and we can continue. This one, for some reason, turns a magic rare legendary item into a normal item. So I guess you could downgrade it if you really wanted, but and then there's multiple tiers of these. So you see all these different versions, and obviously you don't want to throw these away, as these are the entire reason that we're playing the game, is to grind and upgrade these gear. So what they do is they create a problem and then they sell you the solution to the problem. Now, if we actually go in and we look in the shop, though, it continues. We can do things like looking at things like chaos stones, okay? Well, the chaos stones give you the stone resonances. You can go to the account purchase god resonances, etc. And these are all going to be your different currencies for things like upgrades, etc. You can look at these ones. These are more essences, re-imbues the number of link slots by chance. That's for your actual, if you see here, that's actually for your runes. So you see how there's all these different slots, and where the slots are is super important, because more slots mean you can get more upgrade on your abilities, and you can put more linked runes in. Well, in order to get those, you have to farm them, but you can also get them in the shop. And then what you end up doing is you go in here and it's all RNG. So let's say I want to take lightning chain because it's one of my best items, right? And I want to re-imbue the number of link slots. I don't really want to do that because it's where I want it to be. Let's do this one. Okay, let's re-imbue the number. There we go, re-imbue it. Now it has 2 of those instead of just 1, which means I could connect this to 2 stones to have it upgraded instead of just 1. And now this is technically a better piece than it was before. And that's something that we can just go into the shop and we can be purchasing these type of things. Okay, there's consumables, which are literally resurrection scrolls. You have to spawn back in the base, or you can spawn right here, right now. Stat elixir chest items, you get these from going through the campaign, or you can literally just buy them. These are going to give you big boost of stats temporarily, and it goes on and on and on. Even identification scrolls are something you can purchase directly up through the shop using these types of currencies through paid progress or regular gameplay, or these ones, but these ones are only through the paid shop. And the paid shop itself is basically selling all the convenience items that way. Now, if you notice, there is one where you can purchase a 7-day pet ability through just in-game. So you can technically earn these, which is the way they kind of get around it. But of course, they sell the 7-day for it, not the 28-day, etc. So you have to then go back and eventually you're going to want to purchase it, etc. So that's kind of how it's been. I've noticed the majority of the people that are talking about this game recently all kind of have the same problem, which is, hey, I'm running out of bag space. Like, I don't really have any bag space with my character. And then they go sneaking through the shop and they find out the shop is basically selling a bunch of bag space. For me, that's highly annoying, because I would argue that these are things that are just core to making a good game. Like, part of having like an inventory system that works is part of having a good game. And I don't want to be sold the part of that's having a good game just from that. I can understand if maybe you wanted to be stronger and like, oh, let's make PvP pay to win or something, and we'll make all the whales fight each other, and then that's how they're farming their cash. I get it. But it's kind of frustrating when things like what I would consider PC game level quality of life are getting removed in exchange for currency. All that being said, the game's actually fun. Like, the depth of the game seems fun. The way the rune system seems fun. But the pay to win, if you're asking today, is the game pay to win? Yeah, because basically it's going to boil down to things like RNGing your way through the runes. The quality of life through the pets are significantly better. If you're grinding with other people at the end game, I'm sure they're not going to want to have somebody that doesn't have a pet and they're taking way longer to pick up all the loot, etc. That could get annoying. And honestly, the inventory space alone is enough to be extremely frustrating, because they don't even give you half of the inventory space that you can get through if you pay for the game. So for me, if you're asking if it's pay to win, the answer is yes. But is it a fun game? It's still kind of a fun game, even though it's pay to win. That's just the realistic review. Love y'all. See you on the next video. Consider subscribing if you can. Bye-bye.